Today we are making some chipotle at home, and we're doing it all vegan, of course. And we're going to make some beans, some vegan chipotle chicken, a vegan sour cream for drizzling, cilantro lime rice, and a few sides like the corn salsa and some Pico de Gallo. And I used to eat at Chipotle quite often, and this was way better than anything I ever got from them, so let's get it going. And I like to get the prep done first, so I'm going to chop up a bunch of veggies, and that way when it's time to assemble or cook, everything is nice and ready. And if I have some leftover chopped veggies, well, that just makes my life easier for other dishes as well. And for the beans, I originally went with pinto, but then I found I actually preferred the black beans, but either will work. And this recipe for the beans is pretty simple, but first I want to put together a quick taco seasoning that will come in handy. And obviously you can use some store-bought stuff like this, but the homemade seasoning is going to have way more flavor, which you can customize as well. We'll start with 3 tablespoons of chili powder, and this is what I'm using here, and then 1 tablespoon each of garlic and onion powder, cumin, smoked paprika, chipotle powder, and oregano, and then 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then optional but recommended is a teaspoon of citric acid, which will give the seasoning a tangy and zippy flavor. And now for the beans, I'm making a double batch, but we'll add some oil and about 2 diced jalapenos to a pan. Toast those for a minute, and then 4 cans of drained beans. I'm using pinto here, but I also made some black beans as well, like I said. And then we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of the taco seasoning, the juice of 1 lime, and then salt to taste, and that's basically it. You can add some water like I did if you want to thin it out, and obviously more taco seasoning or lime, but for me, this was perfect. And for the rice, I originally made some in my rice cooker, but I totally biffed it and let it sit for too long. So I just went ahead and jazzed up some of this instant rice, which turned out surprisingly good, I gotta say. But just cook your rice however you like. We're gonna need about 4 cups worth, to which we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of vegan butter, a 1/3 cup of chopped cilantro, 2 cloves or 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, the juice of 1 lime, and then you just gotta salt to taste, and that's basically it. And I knew this stuff was good because I couldn't stop snacking on it. And obviously, fresh rice is gonna be better, but like I said, this was a great way to amp up some instant rice, and obviously a lot faster too. And for the chicken, I'll be making it 2 ways, one with our good buddy soy curls and also with some of this daring chicken. And I do really like this daring stuff, but my only problem with it is it's kind of expensive. If they can figure out a way to get the cost down, that would be a game changer. And the soy curls, they're still a great option as well, and they are a lot cheaper too. And for the soy curls, we'll be doing something similar to how we made them for the halal guys a few weeks back, basically rehydrating a whole bag of them in 4 cups of this vegan chicken broth for about 15 minutes. And while that's happening, let's put together our chipotle marinade, and I'm making a quadruple batch, which will give us enough for about 2 pounds of vegan chicken, so bear that in mind. We'll start off with a 1/4 cup of this mushroom seasoning. If you can't find this kind of stuff, just use some nutritional yeast instead. It should be totally fine. And then next is 4 teaspoons each of coriander and cumin, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 12 tablespoons or 3/4 cup of this diced chipotle in adobo, and then about 12 cloves of garlic, the juice of 2 limes, and then 2 cups of vegan chicken or veggie stock. And we're gonna blend that up, and now I'm gonna divide it in half and marinate the soy curls and daring chicken in it. But first, we gotta squeeze out the excess liquid from the soy curls, of course. Just get out any aggression you might have and squeeze the bejesus out of them. And now you can totally just marinate this for a few minutes and use it right away, or do like I'm doing and marinate it overnight like so. The choice is yours. But once you do decide, it's just a simple process of grilling the vegan chicken over medium-high heat and a bit of oil until they get cooked through and start to get some nice color on them. And the daring, it's just great. It cooks a lot like chicken from what I remember, and it browns up real nice. And the soy curls are good too, of course. With some oil, they get a nice browning as well. They're softer and, you know, a little less chewy than the daring, but they are still super dang good and a great affordable option. And I've just been eating this stuff all week in burritos and bowls, but also tacos and by the handful. It's just delicious as heck, so don't skip it. And then now for the sour cream, we're gonna be making something that you can drizzle like so. And all we need to do is get 1 cup of raw cashews, cover them in some boiling water for about 10 minutes. And then now we're gonna get a 1/3 cup of full fat coconut milk, 1 to 2 teaspoons of vegan lactic acid, which will impart a great tang to the sour cream, and then half to 1 teaspoon of salt, half a cup of unsweetened plant milk, 1 tablespoon of lime juice, and then add that mixture with our softened cashews to a blender and blend that up until nice and smooth. As always, taste and adjust, but you should be left with something like this. And now it'll definitely firm up if you store it in the fridge. So if you want it to be pourable again, just add a little bit more plant milk until you get the consistency that you like. Also, it's worth noting that everything up until this point is included in my Chipotle burrito bowl recipe and my new cookbook, Vegan Fast Food, which comes out at the end of this month. Please pre-order if you can, link in description. Thank you for your support. And now for a few of the other sides, let's do a quick Pico de Gallo. And yeah, you can get store-bought, but homemade is vastly superior and very easy. You just got to get 1.5 cups of diced tomatoes, 2 tablespoons of diced jalapenos, a heaping 1/4 cup of diced onion, the juice of 1 lime, 2 tablespoons of chopped cilantro, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, some salt, and a pinch of cumin. Mix that up, and that is your amazing Pico de Gallo. And then for the corn salsa, I'm going to use a bag of this frozen roasted corn as a shortcut, but use fresh or canned, whatever you like. I just cooked it and let it cool, and then added 1.5 cups of it to a bowl, along with a 1/4 cup of red onion, 2 tablespoons of chopped cilantro, 2 tablespoons of diced jalapenos, the juice of 1 lime, some salt, gave that a mix and tasted and decided it needed a little garlic powder, some cayenne, and then why not a heaping tablespoon of diced serrano peppers for a little bit of a kick, and then some cumin. And yeah, that was exactly what it needed, and this stuff was so dang good I could eat it with a spoon, and I did. For a quick guacamole, we'll get 3 avocados, the juice of 1 lime, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of diced jalapenos, 1 tablespoon of chopped cilantro, salt, a little cumin and cayenne, and then mash it up, and that is our super fast, super delicious guacamole. For the salsa roja, I was feeling lazy, so I just got some from down the street, and you could also, just whip up something like I like to do, which is literally just vegan mayo and some hot sauce like Valentina, Tapatio, or Cholula, and then for a little extra kick, you could add some of this green sauce by Yucateco. Obviously, it's not like a salsa roja, but it's pretty good, and you can drizzle it, and everyone loves to drizzle, so why not? Lastly, for the cheese, I'll be grating some of this Daya block, and I highly suggest grating from a block if you can. The texture is just better in this kind of scenario, but don't sweat it either way. And now, finally, we can put together our burrito. So we'll start with a layer of the rice and the beans, the chipotle chicken, some shredded vegan cheese, then some of our guacamole, the corn salsa, pico de gallo, red sauce, and a healthy drizzle of our sour cream, and then I'll try to roll it up as best as I can. And in a perfect world, I would grill this, but I was worried about doing that with all the cold stuff in there. Plus, they don't grill it at Chipotle, but this is what we got. And for what I remember, this looks a lot like a Chipotle burrito to me. And I'll say this was super fantastic, albeit a bit messy and soft, which again is what I remember from Chipotle burritos. They don't tend to have the best structural integrity on account of all the cold, soft fillings that are hard to pass up. And if I did have my druthers, I would grill the burrito and then just top it with the various salsas. But then again, why not just make it into a burrito bowl, which I think makes a lot of sense. So yeah, do the drizzle thing again. And while I liked both of these, I think maybe I preferred the bowl better, or maybe it was the tacos I made with all the leftovers. Seriously, if you go the route I did, you'll be eating Chipotle for a week, which is not a bad thing in my book. And speaking of, please pre-order my cookbook if you can, and then check out this vegan halal guys video I got here. And until then, I'll see you all next time.